session. Patricia is a dentist by profession, and she has practiced Raja Yoga meditation for 25 years, a long time, and is the coordinator for the Brahma Kumaris in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. So welcome to Washington, D.C. and the Meditation Museum.
So good evening for everyone. And first of all, I would like to apologize for my Brazilian English. I hope you can understand everything. And if you cannot, please feel free to ask for so that I can repeat or find any other word to replace. Anyone here knows Belo Horizonte or have heard about this city? Yeah? Good.
My son, when he graduated from college, he spent a month there.
Wow, wonderful. Nice to see, nice to know this. Actually, normally when people think about Brazil, they usually think about São Paulo or then Rio. Rio is more appealing. But this is the capital of the state of Minas Gerais, and it's the third biggest city in the country, where all the mines are, and so it's quite a big city. And we have all the historical side also. I mean, many important historical cities like Ouro Preto and some others. So whenever you feel inspired, you are welcome to come and to visit us in Brahma Kumaris in Belo Horizonte in Brazil as well. But I'm not here to speak about Belo Horizonte. I'm here to speak about the power of the presence. And it is very much true that we are missing something in our lives. And this doesn't mean that we are sad. Sometimes life is quite good. I remember when I first came to Brahma Kumaris, my life was quite good. I mean, I was almost graduating in like a dentistry in Brazil. And I used to have lots of friends and used to have lots of fun. And really life was quite good. But I can remember some moments in which I would kind of face a kind of emptiness inside myself. And this was something strange because I couldn't relate the emptiness with my lifestyle. You see, if life is good, I mean, if you have everything you want, because one thing is when you don't have, no? So like you don't have idea of your future, then you can think that this could be a reason, or maybe you are not happy with your relationships and maybe this could be a reason, or maybe you have some health problem and maybe this could be a reason for this kind of emptiness or this kind of it's a kind of fear maybe. But for me, I mean, everything was there. And still, at some points, I would feel this kind of emptiness. And I couldn't understand at that point that probably I was missing myself in my life. So I was full of people, full of things, full of relationships, but I was missing this essence of myself. Or maybe I was missing my presence in my life. And it's interesting because if we see there are some kind of automatic pilot that we use a lot in our lives, and that makes us don't really connect or pay attention to some of the things that we do normally. For instance, when we eat, we are eating and we are not really present because that's an habit, no? So we know how to eat. We don't have to think about what we have to do. And then this gives us a kind of freedom to don't be there at that moment. Or sometimes when you are going to work, or sometimes when you are walking somewhere, let's say, I mean, some place that you know very well. So you just do that things, all the things, sometimes in the work, you just do all the things, many of the things that we do in our daily routine, which are just in the automatic pilot. So we are doing, but we are not present. So where are we at this moment? Really, where are we then if we are not there? And you know, just as a kind of curiosity, they did a research in terms of the way people use their lives. And nowadays, the average of age is, they say that usually you go till 80. Many people go up to 80. Many people don't reach 80, but it's a kind of average. And so like if you have 50, like I'm 47 now, so if we have 50 years now, let's say you would have 30 years ahead. So 30 years till the average, which is 80. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the second part at this point, but it's still 30 years is quite a lot of time, no? Some people, they get some news sometimes that they have 6 years, they have less time. But you see, if we live 30 years, but actually we are present just 2 hours present, then from these 30 years that we have ahead, we will live really just 6. So like just 6 years. If we have, like me, 47, 50 years, average is 80 years. So you have, if you are living 2 hours of presence, this means that you have just 6 years of life. And you see, like 2 hours sometimes is the time we spend with our boss in the work. No, 2 hours sometimes is the time we spend in a bus going to somewhere in the traffic. Like here in Washington, I could see that, I mean, it's such a magnificent city, but there are lots of traffic, no? So many times 2 hours is the time we spend in your car, wanting to reach somewhere. So, and people spend so much money with all kinds of researches looking for ways of making people live more. No? Medicines, vitamins, therapies, I mean, all sorts of things to make life longer. But if we could be more present whilst eating, whilst driving, whilst waiting, whilst, I mean, doing so many things, whilst being with our family. How many times we are seated in front of the television, absent? I mean, we are there, seated with people around us, but are we present there? So if we add this time, this means that we are adding life. It's like if you live then these 30 years and you can be more present, this gives you much more life to live. Even if you don't live the 30 years, it's going to be worthwhile, the time that you are going to live. So I come back to that question. When we are not present, where are we? Anyone has any idea? In which place are we? Thinking about the future is one of the things for sure that we do. Or the past. Situations. Mhm. So I don't know how many of you have done the meditation course here in Brahma Kumaris, but one of the lessons that we teach is about the thoughts. And all these kinds of thoughts, thinking about the future, something that is still going to happen, or repeating things that happened in the past and trying to kind of live in that situation again, or even overthinking about the situations, thinking about people's lives, which are not our life, but are people's lives. And all these things that we do, we call these waste thoughts. It's a kind of thought that we have. I mean, majority of the thoughts that we have are these waste thoughts, which are unnecessary thoughts. I mean, are thoughts that we have and doesn't bring an attainment to us. Create lots of anxiety sometimes, people become worried about things and situations. They become stressed. I don't know if you know, but the most stressed people are not those who work more with their bodies. We could say, for instance, that constructors, or you see people that really work physically hard would be stressed, but the most stressed are the health professions. The most stressed are the business people. So people that stay many times seated in a place thinking. So when you think and when you overthink, this spend lots and lots of energy. And this creates this feeling of tiredness and doesn't bring, the point is that it doesn't bring attainment, real experience. So you are thinking about future. When future comes, when future becomes present, then it will bring attainment. But the only place, the only time in which we can attain and experience something is now. Now in the present. So all these thoughts are one of the reasons, yes, you are right, for which we are not present. So wasteful thoughts is going to be one of the reasons. There are some other reasons. One is the other one that I mentioned in the beginning, the habits. So the kind of automatic pilot, these tendencies that we have of doing some things in, the same way without rethinking that thing. And many times, these habits of doing something provoke in us a kind of resistance. So we become very much resistant to novelty, to something which is new. So this kind of crystallize you in a place, in the same way of doing, in the same way. So this also brings a kind of limited attainment. So again, one of the reasons for which we are not present and we are empty is the same, pattern of doing the things all the times. And another reason for which we are not present here in the Raja Yoga philosophy, we call it law of karma. I don't know if you have heard about this. But to resume, because it's a class by itself, this law of the karma is the law that takes care of all the energy that we spend. So all the energy in the form of thoughts, in the form of actions, in the form of words. So you create, you emanate energy when you think, when you speak, when you act. And this energy is there. Once you create that energy, it's, in the space, let's say, and it influences people and situations, around you. And when it influences and it provokes a kind of response, that response also in the form of energy comes to you. So many times we are just influenced by the energy that comes to us from around, which was provoked, let's say, for us. So we are trapped by the karmic situations or relationships or so on, and this also keeps us absent. So we are not present because we are sometimes reacting. So if you are in kind of reaction mode, so you are kind of reacting, so this makes you absent in that point, because when you are present, really present, you are not trapped to a reaction. So you are free to create something new. I mean, you are free to respond or to act as you want, you see? And you are, when you are trapped in a karmic relationship or situation, we are not aware that we are just reacting. So sometimes you are criticizing, sometimes you are blaming, and so many things that also we do, which is due to this karmic situation. So these are the main causes for because we are not present in our lives. Could be some others as well, but at least the ones that I taught. So the habits and the tendencies that we have, and then the karmic situations, and then the wasteful thoughts that, makes us to think a lot. I don't know if you know, but nowadays in a big city like Washington, for instance, usually a person would have an average of 50,000 thoughts a day, which is a lot, 50,000 thoughts. And how many of these, out of these 50,000, how many are we aware of? How many become an action? How many bring attainment? In how many of these moments are we present? And if we are not present, or it's because we are reacting somehow, or it's because we are trapped, or it's because we are in the automatic pilot, or it's because it's wasteful. We are kind of traveling with the thoughts here and there. And then how can we be present? So what can we do so that we can change this and we can be present? What it is to be present, kind of be connected. And one of the reasons for which we cannot be present it's also because we try to concentrate and we try, but it's because of our emptiness. Then it comes from the beginning when I was speaking about this emptiness of the soul. The soul, the being, is such an entity that comes from a state of fullness, of being kind of complete. So this is our essence. And that's why we look for things. If we analyze, if we think, we are always looking for love, for instance. Even if, as I said, even if we have lawful relationships, we always think that this love could be more. We always think that we could be more happy. Always we think that we could be more peaceful. We are always wanting to be ourselves. Nowadays it's a kind of fashion. No? People, they usually say, I want to be myself. No, I don't want to be influenced by anyone. I want to be myself. So you are always looking for this purity of ourselves. Be myself without interference, without other colors or other flavors. So we want this experience of more happiness and more love and be pure and more peace. But from where do we have these references? Because look, in the world, we don't see pure things. I mean, it's barely you see something which is pure. Even the water that we drink, even if, looks like it's pure, but if you see lots of minerals in it, nowadays is this fashion of organics, because we know that even if we buy kind of vegetables, it's full of poison in it, no? Pesticides and so on. So it's difficult to see something which is pure. The air that we are breathing is full of, ingredients, pollution. So everywhere it's difficult to find something pure. So we don't have in the world nowadays a kind of reference of purity. And probably we never have been so happy as we dream to be. We dream with a kind of happiness that we never had, but still we want. We want more. And we want a kind of peace that, for sure we don't have in the world nowadays. So in the world nowadays, even in the most kind of like this morning we were leaving the Brahma Kumari's center in another district here. Such a beautiful place, full of trees. I don't know if you have been there. Still, as soon as we left, traffic jam. Full of trees all around, very beautiful. But we are stuck in the traffic. So, to have peaceful things is really, that's why we appreciated so much the 6 days of silence in which we could have all the time, all the space, just to be in peace. But it's something rare in the world. So it seems that we want something which we don't have reference outside. So this means that we want something which we have inside. So what makes us look for all of these things is inside us. Because no one looks for something that they don't have. You see, it's craziness. If you don't have a microphone, you don't look for a microphone. But if you have and if you don't find, you look for it until you can find. So all this peace and love and happiness in this level that we are looking for, we have the reference of this inside. So it is there, it is inside. But because we cannot reach, and we cannot reach because we are looking for outside. So you want this from the outside. We want love from the relationships, from the other people. We want peace from the nature. We want purity from, something from outside. We are kind of always expecting and trying to provoke these experiences, let's say, these feelings. But because it's not outside, and we have the experience of this, I'm talking with adults here, everyone has their own ways and experiences. You are not children. So, each one have their own amount of experiences in life till this point, and we know very well that it's not there. It's not there. In everything we are doing, and we have been doing, we couldn't find. Yes or no? Yes. So, it's not, I'm just remembering you, but you know very well about this. So it's because we have to look for this then inside. And because we don't go inside. Because we don't go deep inside. That's the cause, because we cannot be present. Because the soul is always looking for fulfillment. So with emptiness, it's impossible to be present. With emptiness, it's impossible to be silent. Impossible. You cannot be present being empty. If you are empty, we will look for fulfillment. And in looking for fulfillment, we will think, overthink, and we'll be trapped again in the habits and so on. And again, we will be absent, looking for. And so that's the kind of thing that we really have to understand. And to reach this point inside, this deep point inside ourselves, there are also some things that we have to do. First of all, we have to let go some things. Like we have to let go the habits, we have to let go the ego, we have to let go all the false delusion that puts us in a kind of limitation. So we kind of identify ourselves with our bodies, we identify ourselves with our background, we identify ourselves with our profession, we identify ourselves with our relationships. All of these things are part of our lives, but we are something else, something more than this. You see, so we have a profession, like I'm a dentist, I'm a coordinator of the Brahma Kumaris in Belo Horizonte, I'm Brazilian, I have a father, so I have my familiar relationships, I have friends. So all of these things are part of my identity. So it's not a question of deny any of this. But just understand that if I don't have any of this, let's say that I decide that I'm going to retire, for instance. Okay, and let's say that I'm going to move to DC. I decide that I'm going to move here. And so let's say that something happens with my family, my parents, and all of a sudden I'm alone. Still I'm something. No? And let's say that my features for some reason change. Sometimes people change hairstyle, sometimes people change the color of the hair. Well, sometimes people change many things. So all of these things we can lose. All of these things we can change. But still we are someone. Or even probably is one of the experiences when people get sick, for instance, and they start to lose things, no? Especially when it's a serious kind of sickness and people lose many things. Sometimes they lose the profession, they cannot act professionally anymore. Sometimes they lose relationships, some people don't want to be with them anymore, and they lose their kind of appearance, they lose the hair, they can lose, they can lose the beauty that they used to have. And still, they are someone. So all of these kind of layers are part of the ego. And we have to be ready to let go of this identification. You see? It's not that you are going to let go of people. It's not that we are going to let go of a job. It's not this that we are going to do, but let go of this identification with all of these things, because we are not just this, we are more than this. So if we don't let go, what happens is that we become trapped in all these kind of superficial layers of the self. So it's like if you imagine many layers, so kind of body, appearance, religion, roles that things that we do, profession, family, and even some traits of our personality, everything that comes from outside. Everything that comes from outside is part of this ego, these layers. And if we don't let go of this identification, as much deep we want to go, still we arrive in a surface. So we cannot reach that point where is the peace, the purity, the happiness, the love that we are looking for, because they are not in the layers. So let go, let go. And to be able to let go, let in. So both things we have to do. So we have to let go some things, and we have to allow some experiences to come in. So we have really to experience. And probably one of the things that is, the unique thing of the meditation is the experience. So here in Brahma Kumaris, we are not a kind of philosophy. We are not here just to speak. Although I'm giving a lecture today, but our aim here is not just to understand. We are not here just to read, just to study, just to this. We are here to experience. So meditation means experience. You have to experience. So when we speak like about love, for instance, love is much more than a word. Love is much more than a concept. And love is not something that you can copy. Like, yes, you can be inspired by all the love that Christ, for instance, gave. You can be inspired by people, but you cannot copy them. You really have to create your own experience. So we are here to experience things, and experience has to do with let in, to promote this kind of experience and to fulfill the being. And as much as you are kind of fulfilled, then you'll be able to be present. And there is one more thing that it's very unique, especially then in the Raja Yoga meditation, because there are many different kinds of meditations. You can try like to be just present. For instance, the mindfulness meditation, which makes you present whilst speaking, whilst walking, whilst eating. So you do it very slowly and try really to be present and feel the flavors and all the textures and the process. So this is one kind of meditation. And there are other kind of meditation that it's a kind of transcendental meditation that tries to experience that tries to empty the mind, kind of no think. So you cannot think, so you just try to be blank in your mind, which is hard because mind thinks. So it's the ability, is the function of the mind. Mind thinks, so it's natural. So don't think and try to don't think creates a bit of pressure. But in Raja Yoga meditation, there are some things which are very specific. One of the things is that we use the thoughts as a kind of means to reach our aim, let's say. So if the aim is to be peaceful, we use the thought to get to that place of peace. So this is one thing. Second thing is that it's really a meditation which has this aim of making you a self-sovereign, kind of master of yourself, master of your senses, master of your thoughts, master of your mind. So it's like you are the one in control of your life. Because really, if we are not in control of our mind, we are not in control of our life. We are not in control of the result of our life. And so it's like we want to be happy, no? Everyone wants to be happy. And I want to be happy. Happy is here. But if I don't control my mind to reach this result, mind will continue to create preoccupation, concerns, and wasteful thoughts, and criticize, and all the things that gives me sadness. So, I mean, if we are not in control of this process of thought, happiness, love, peace are just a kind of illusion. Because in these internal aspects, it's very much as it is in the normal life. Like in the normal life, you know that if you have a result, you have to invest energy in that direction. Like if you want a good job, then you have to qualify for that. If you want to enter a university, you have to qualify for that. Or if you want a good salary, you have to work for that. So things doesn't happen like this. But in terms of the internal experiences, we think that we want to be happy and it's just going to happen. So happiness don't happen if we don't create happiness. So really, if we want, I mean, such a kind of future, we have to create that in the present, today, now. We have to do, I mean, the ways, the means, to create the means to get in that result, let's say. And it's exactly like in all other things in our life. So, yes, it's important to be the master of yourself, so that you can be the master of your future, so that you can create the result that you want for your life. And that is not going to be just an illusion, a dream, an utopia, something that you cannot reach. Many people, even if they live 80, 90, 100 years, still many times they feel that they didn't have time. Oh? So really, where were them during all this time? So again, it's this question that we have to make. And another specific thing in terms of the Raja Yoga is that it means a connection. The word yoga, for those who have been practicing here, probably you have heard about it. The word yoga means connection, means connect, union. And Raja means the king, kind of. It's a word that means the king. In the past, in India, for instance, they used to have the Maharajas and the Rajas and so on. So it's the king. And there is one energy which is supreme, let's say. And supreme means there is in the world one energy which contains everything, which contains all the experiences, which contains all the qualities, all the power, all the virtues. And this energy is the energy of God. And here it's not important the name that you give to God and the religion, the tradition from which you come and that you use to reach God. That's not the important thing. The important thing is understand that all around the world, crossing all the faiths and all the paths, people believe in this kind of supreme energy, which is present, let's say. And then Raja Yoga means to connect with this supreme energy. Raja Yoga means to connect with God, to use your mind, to use your energy, to use your thoughts, to connect with this supreme energy, with this everything, this being which is almighty, which doesn't have to do with time and space, which is always available for you. And but how then to connect? So there are some things which are important to understand. First thing is that God is alive. God is alive, which means He exists. So He's not a statue. He's not a memorial. Today we saw so many memorials all around. So God is not just a memorial. He's not just a statue. He exists. He's alive. You see? He's not in somewhere which is, I mean, you'll never be able to reach. Kind of. He's not something that you cannot understand, you cannot explain. No, he's alive. He's an energy which is alive at this point. Second, one of the things that makes the connection easy is to create with God a relationship. So if we want to connect to, and if he's alive, and if he's available, to connect a relationship, can be a relationship with the father, can be a relationship with the mother, can be a relationship with the companion, can be a relationship with the friend. But the important thing in terms of the relationship is that every relationship brings an attainment. So like from the father you get your genes, you get your inheritance. From the companion you get company. From the mother you get acceptance, we get kind of unconditional love, recognition. And from, I don't know, I mean, from the friend we get a kind of complicity, a kind of intimacy. And from the doctor, let's say, from the healer, he can be the healer, you get the health, you get kind of balance. You see? So in each kind of relationship, you get a kind of attainment from this fountain, from this source. It's like he is the eternal source of everything. And how can I grasp, how can I take something from him? It's true connection. And connection becomes natural and becomes easy when we create a relationship. And then when we do this, when we connect, when we have this yoga, when we get this attainment, then this attainment can touch really deep in the soul and can kind of give freedom for all these things which are deep inside, kind of blocked for so many layers. And this gives this feeling of fulfillment. And then, just then, I can be present. Because then I'm free, then I'm there. You see, I'm not looking for. So what makes us non-present, absent, is that we are always looking for something. We are here looking for something. And we think it's going to come in the dinner. So probably you are thinking about the dinner. Or maybe you are thinking about tomorrow. Something that we are going to experience tomorrow. Or maybe you are thinking about someone. Because we think that that one is going to give us something. So this emptiness makes us absent. And even if you try to be present, as soon as we don't keep total attention, like this eating, so you keep eating, very present, but as soon as you are not present, that's it. And we want to be present, I mean, most of the time of our lives, otherwise we are losing life. So this is some of ideas that we can experience. And we are here exactly to teach this method, this practice of meditation, which is easy, which is simple, doesn't have to do with pressure, doesn't have to do with tension. So it's something for everyone, for everybody. You don't have to be to get out of your family, get out of your job. You don't have to live in a mosque or to live in the beach, in the mountain. We would love to do this, but it's not life, no? For all of us, we still have to work. Even me, I work full day. But still, to have time, I mean, to create some time for this practice, something which is very much needed for us. So this is the idea of the power of presence. And then Of course, if you are present in the things which you are doing, this creates an impact. Like as I said, if you are present with your family, let's say, your presence will create an impact in the quality of that relationship. You will be able to listen, we will be able to perceive things, we will be able to really to catch that deep desires that the souls have. We will be able to give, because you are not looking for taking, you are not taking anymore. And it's the same in your work. Because you are present, you'll be able to be creative, much more creative. You're going to be able to be the solution. You'll be able to help in terms of to have a good quality of relationships with your colleagues. Again, you'll be able to listen the demands that the souls have, the people have. You see, so everything you do will be much more qualified. You have quality in the things that we do, just because you have all this potential, which is just kind of locked inside. You are just doing everything on the surface, kind of living on the surface. That's what we are doing in our lives. So yeah, I'm experiencing a lot with this, and I can tell you that life gets another dimension when we start to do it. So that's what I have to share with you, and você quer compartilhar com eles? I would like to invite my colleague Marli Medeiros. She is in professional life. She's coaching. She does life coaching, career coaching, and she actually is the coordinator of the Brahma Kumaris, not just in Belo Horizonte, where I am, but as well in Rio de Janeiro. So she's the responsible for all the area. And for sure, she has also some ideas to share. She can share in Portuguese or... Quer falar em português e eu traduzo?
Hello, good night. Pleasure to be here. I don't have an English like Patricia. My practice is very few. I'm sorry. So I agree everything she said for yours, and my experience is. I speak in Portuguese now, but it's better for you because I have a feeling. She does it for me. And estar presente também é um foco, estar focado é uma decisão. Com tudo isso que a Patrícia falou, tomar uma decisão de estar presente consigo mesmo, sentir esse preenchimento.
So to be present also, it has to do with to have a focus in your life. To have a focus of what you want to do in your life. Foco, o que mais?
Tomar uma decisão de estar consigo mesmo, experimentando essa presença em si mesmo para ter a vontade de estar presente no que faz, experimentar essas coisas boas e estar presente com os outros.
And also has to do with make a decision. Make a decision of being present in your life. Making a decision of be present and be available for others in your life.
Sentir o lado interno, o que você tem, e a Brahma Kumaris oferece todas essas ferramentas, a metodologia para isso, para que a gente...
Fala pequena sentença, eu não consigo te traduzir. To feel everything that we have inside ourselves, really to feel this. And the Brahma Kumaris gives us all the tools so that you are able to do this.
Essa decisão de tomar, pegar as ferramentas, experimentar a meditação, estar presente consigo, com Deus, como ela falou, essa conexão suprema, e a vida ela vai ficar melhor, porque...
So that's the decision we have to make. The decision of take all of these tools, to use all of these tools, to be present in our life, to be present in the presence of God, to take all the attainments from Him. So all of this depends just from one decision that we have to make.
Porque tudo que a Patrícia compartilhou com vocês e que nós temos a compartilhar é muito bom para nós que experimentamos, mas vocês precisam experimentar, porque por mais que a gente fale, ainda fica num sabor do outro.
Because everything that we have spoken to you, it's from our own experience. So we are kind of sharing our experience. But still, each one of you have to experience for yourselves. Otherwise, it's like to taking something which was experienced by someone else. It's like it's have the flavor of the other person. So still, each one have to do by herself.
Então, estou muito feliz de poder ter conhecido Washington, já conheço Nova York e outros lugares há algum tempo, mas a primeira vez aqui.
So I'm very happy to be here in Washington. I have been in New York some other times, but it's the first time that both of you actually are here.
Boa noite.
Thank you and good night. So I'd like to open now if someone wants to ask some question about the topic, some comment, some idea, whatever. Yes, please.
What are some of the prevailing attributes of a person who is practicing presence? What are some of the traits that
Mhm.
we can pick up and say, yes, that's familiar, that's something I can put my hand on? Because sometimes it's just so spacey, so
Mhm.
non-concrete.
Yeah, I understand, but
So what are some of the traits, and then traits I can look at and hang on to and say, I know I'm in the present because there are some benchmarks
Mhm.
touching me.
I think that you are saying to feel in yourself because they are subtle. And so it's something that each one will be able to check by, I mean, in himself. You see, it's not something that really you'll be able to see in the other and to kind of judge. This one is present, this one is not. Anyway, you will be more focused, as she said. So you have focus in concentration in what you want. You are going to be more available to people because you are more happy, you are fulfilled, so you are more available. Probably you are going to be more sweet, even, no, in your way of dealing with whatever, with these situations. And you will keep this kind of enthusiasm for life as well. This can be one of the traits. You'll be more patient, more patient to listen. You'll be able to grasp the feelings of the others. Sometimes you'll be able to give to the others things that they still don't know that they need. You see? Kind of your intuition is going to be more kind of subtle as well. You will be more kind of connected with the things which are happening. You see? More kind of cooperative. As much as you see the needs of the others and you are available and you are kind of have this kind of enthusiasm, so you are going to cooperate with the needs and with the things. So some of the, not all of them, as I said, you can kind of see in the others obviously. But you can feel in yourself, and it's very important, your question, because, you know, it's important to check. Once it's slippery, no, the presence is something which is slippery. So it's very important to keep an eye in yourself, to check yourself, to see, like in today, we had, I don't know, 16 hours awake, let's say. So in all the day today, how much time did I was awake? How much time I was present? How much time my third eye was open? I was really aware of myself and of the others and the things. Okay? Yes, please.
Techniques for limiting wasteful thoughts. I understand that you try to keep thoughts out as futile, but they just come in more strong. You try not to think about something,
Mhm.
it's going to come stronger.
Again, first thing is to be aware. You know, in the practice of meditation, usually in the beginning, people come with this comment to us, you know, I don't like to meditate, or I cannot meditate, because as soon as I sit there, I start to think about all sorts of things. And what we say is that this is very good, because at least you are aware. Because usually we are having these 50,000 thoughts a day without being aware. So first thing is to be aware. Second thing is to have a kind of how can I say, alternative then. Because as I said, mind is thinking. So if I don't have a kind of positive experience to give to the mind, to think about, if I don't have this menu of positive experiences to take and to think instead of the wasteful things, then it's going to be hard. So that's why it's important, this knowledge and this experience, because experience will make you have an option. You are going to have a choice, let's say, you see? Because many times, or you think wasteful because you don't notice that you are thinking, or because you don't know what to think then. So if I don't think about the life of others, for instance, if I don't think about the future, if I'm not concerned with something, then what? So what is going to be there? You see? So you have to have option, you have to have this choice, and this comes when you have this kind of expertise in the kind of essential things and the spiritual experience and the positive side of the self and all these qualities and all these things that we are, all these tools that she was talking about. Also, she's remembering that when you practice, so practice is another thing, and then you are going to get this control of yourself. Because also meditation is a thing of practice, you see, like everything. Like if you want to learn Portuguese, for instance, you have to go to a school of Portuguese, and then you have to study, and as much as you go there, as much you are going to learn. Like for me, when I was studying English, I didn't know how to speak English. It's important then to do a kind of immerse yourself in that kind of environment, let's say, and then it comes up. So also, you see, the amount of dedication and the practice, as much as you practice, more you are going to be in control. It's a kind of process, as you said. So it's start with the meditation. Okay? Yes.
How many hours do you meditate per day?
Not many, really. I mean, it's not a question of time, quantity. It's more a question of quality of time. But usually, we have the discipline of spend some time in meditation. And as life is, busy, it's difficult to stop during the day. No, it's difficult. You go to work, and then you come, and you have lunch, and you go back to work, and in the evening you are tired. So it's not the best time to meditate. No? So we try to meditate in the morning. And usually we do it early morning, so that everyone can have that time. And morning we are fresh. We are not impacted by the situations outside still, no? So it's the best time to do the practice. And we do kind of 2 hours, 1 hour and a half of meditation in the morning. Yeah, like we start with some 40 minutes and then more 30 minutes before going to work, and that's it. Sometimes that's it. 1 hour and a half, 2 hours maximum. But then, are you present in that time? That's the important thing. How do you use that time? No, we don't chant mantras. We use thoughts. You can call these thoughts as mantras if you want, But you don't kind of repeat the same thought all the time. You just use the thought to kind of direct the experience. For instance, if I want to experience peace, let's say, so I start to think about peace. Like peace is an energy, and I try to experience this energy. And then this awakens peace inside me, and I feel that I have peace. And that peace brings me kind of serene. And so you kind of use the thought to provoke the experience, you see? And then as much as you experience, the experience itself is giving the kind of direction, no? Then you start to feel light, probably I feel light. And then you start to feel you are energy, you have energy, energy spreads, peace spreads, and so on and so on. So we don't use a fixed mantra, let's say.
You just sit and breathe.
Yeah, we sit. Usually it's useful to have an aim to your experience. Can be peace, can be happiness, can be love, can be power, can be connection with the source, can be connection with my inner being. So you have an aim. This aim will give you a direction for your thoughts to start with. So you start thinking, and then you think on the dinner today and this evening, and you think in the things you did during the day, and then you are aware again, and you bring back your thoughts to that same kind of pattern connected with that aim. And the key is the experience. As soon as you start to translate that thought in a feeling, then you start to be concentrated naturally. You see, and as much as you feel, less you thought. And it's not that your mind is empty, but mind is full of an experience. So you start thinking, I'm peace. Then as much as you start to experience, I'm peace, and you feel peace, and then you think less and feel more, till the point in which you just feel. It's like you are peace, and you stay in peace for a while. And during this while, these seconds in which you are peace, then you don't think. It's like you are not thinking, but your mind is not empty, your mind is full. And you never start with not thinking. So it's like not thinking is the aim, is the kind of where you reach. So at that point, you are not thinking and you are experiencing. You are kind of merged in that peace, you see? That comes from God, that comes from you, that spreads all around. And that takes some time, some seconds, and then you start to rethink again something that will give you another looping of experience. Okay, so yeah, you sit and you think. That's what you do. You think in that direction where you want to go. Yeah, can be happiness. Can be happiness, can be love, as I said. So you have to choose. You have a menu of possibilities. And sometimes it has to do with what we are living, you know. Sometimes you are living a situation in which what you need is peace, calm. Sometimes you are living a situation in which what we need is love. Sometimes you are living a situation in what we need is the protection of God as your kind of protector, your father, kind of. So it has to be real, you see? So that's why each one, like you are meditating together, and each one is creating their own commentary. In the beginning, we use these kind of commentaries. You can have a CD or whatever as a kind of tool to begin with, to start with. But at some point, each one will have their own kind of internal commentary, personal commentary. Okay? Okay, then we can finish with some meditation. I don't know if the teachers, the brothers here, they have any announcement to make, or I choose to put a kind of meditation commentary from the CD so that you can have it in a proper English, and I also can experience without having to thinking about translation and so on. Okay? Okay. So we do first meditation. So let's try. You see, let's try to sit in a kind of present position, attentive position. This is important. If you want, you can keep your eyes open. This is also something related with being present, and we are not going to look around, but you can fix your mind. You can fix your eyes, like in this point, which represents the energy of the soul, the energy of the being, or in whatever, in the white wall. And keeping the eyes open will keep you more attentive. And then you are going to accompany the thoughts and try to translate them in a feeling. Okay? Kind of experience. Really go deep in that. And if you think about the dinner, about tomorrow, don't worry, just bring it back. You're going to put it here or?
I invite you to become aware of the two types of consciousness that reside within the soul. Let us choose the consciousness of light over the darkness of past stories, the history that gets into our way. Let us now remember our connection to the supreme energy, the supreme soul, the being of light. For far too long, we have allowed the external forces to dictate our inner force. And at this time, I choose to get off the grid and step inside the heart, to be myself. I choose to no longer be under the influence of what the world tells me, what my parents have told me, my spouse, friends, or anyone who has been a negative influence in my life. In this meditation, I stand strong in the original, eternal, imperishable worth of the soul. I, the being of light, the soul of power. I step into the heart, and I become a being of love, a being of light and goodness.
So would you like just to say Om Shanti to all of you, which is a kind of resume with all of the things that we have spoken. Om means I am. Shanti means I'm full, kind of peaceful. Om